So, we did ask Lee Saunders. Dr. King came to Memphis, and it's clear that he gave his life in service to AFSCME and the sanitation workers. But 1199, our dear friend and brother George Gresham is here, and if you the story as it's told is that Dr. King, 1199 SEIU was Dr. King's favorite union. So we just trying to resolve this here, out here at Mason Temple. Now, what he actually said that? Did he say that, George? You have.
We met, Dr. King came to 1199 6 weeks before his assassination, and he addressed us. He called us the conscience of the labor movement. He said he considered himself a fellow 1199er, and that 1199er was his favorite union. At the time, he was speaking out and getting a lot of harassment about his position in Vietnam, and our executive council at the time had endorsed his position. It was very anti-Vietnam, along with the other social issues. The other things that I will say, and in great tribute to Dr. King, the challenge for us in 1199 is, would we still be his favorite union today? And we keep holding ourselves to that high standard. Lee Saunders is doing a great job. I'm sure Lee Saunders would have been one of his favorite labor leaders.
Clean it up, George.
Clean it up. Favorite labor leaders. But we still live to that standard. And, there's a long, I got to give credit to Leon Davis, the original president of 1199, who was purely social activist. And as a matter of fact, we are the only labor union that we know of that Malcolm X attended his rally as well. And I have a poster in my office with Malcolm X, A. Philip Randolph, Dr. King, all there to celebrate 1199. So we're not in competition with AFSCME. AFSCME, we all hate to say it, but Dr. King did not give his life for 1199. He absolutely did that for the workers of AFSCME. So we're not in competition, but sometimes parents have favorites, and we happen to be the
I
one.
would just say this, because George is my buddy. But I would just say this: Dr. King died not only for supporting the sanitation workers, but for what he believed in.
That's right.
And he believed in labor rights. He believed in workers' rights. He believed in economic justice. Whether you were a member of AFSCME or SEIU, or maybe not even a member of any union.
That's right.
But he believed in economic justice for all, and that's what he fought for, and that's what he lived for. And that's why we need to commemorate this day, and we need to rededicate and recommit ourselves to what he believed in, so we can carry the struggle forward.
We're in total agreement on that. Total agreement.
Quick, we were talking about this Janice case too. What are your thoughts about this case?
Oh, I think that labor movement, we have to work together on this. If this decision come down as it is anticipated, while we represent private sector workers, we don't live on an island. If they come after the public sector workers, we're next. And taking away the freedom and the right for workers to defend themselves, it's outrageous. This is something that I know, Dr. King, and anyone that is fair-minded that thinks about working people, this is a law that is going to be passed down to hurt working people, to take away our voices on the job, and we can't stand by and allow this to happen. One, we lost this through elections. We're going to have to win it back through elections, and we're going to have to pay attention. We can't sleep on this. I know the difference that the union made with my family when my father became a union member. All of a sudden, we didn't have to wait every night to see what Dad would bring home because we had regular pay. And the dignity that comes with being a part of the union is priceless. And we just can't let the corporate interests take this away. So we in the labor movement, this is not a public sector problem. This is a workers' problem, whether you're union or not union. But I stand with Lee and all of the public sector workers, do all we can to fight back against this Janus decision.
And lastly, George, because I asked Lee, where were you 50 years ago?
Wow, I was in junior high school. I remember, certain things you never forget in life. And I remember, unfortunately, in the Bronx at that time, there was a lot of folks going around beating up every white person that they could see. And I truly remember this story that one of my classmates was being attacked by this gang that was known. I won't mention their name now, but because of the neighborhood that I was from, they were familiar with me. And they had one of my classmates, a white person, down on the ground stomping his head. And I went to the leader and said, can you just get off him? He had nothing to do with Dr. King's assassination. And he said to him in real anger, he said, George just saved your life. And I remember the kind of tension and the kind of loss. Me, myself, I didn't know what to believe in at that moment. I so much wanted to hold on to the nonviolent creed that we had said, but it just seemed frustrated to me at that moment. And, you know, I think that was a changing moment for a lot of us. But, you know, we had to keep not only Dr. King's dream alive, but we had to keep his vision alive of what we can do. And so we adopted the nonviolent philosophy, and we're going to hold on to it because we're stronger than them.
Yeah. George Gresham and Lee Saunders, two giants in the labor movement, two brothers carrying on the torch and the baton of A. Philip Randolph as has been handed to them. And as you can see, they represent a constituency that is most impacted by labor issues. And we know, when it comes to service employees, when it comes to government employees, I mean, many of them, if not the majority, are still people who look like us.
That's right.
Because those are the options we have in terms of work. So it's critical in the government and in the service employees that we have representation, that not be taken away, folks. That's why we've been talking about this Janice case. And if it had not, there would be no such thing as a black middle class if it weren't for organized labor. There wouldn't be any such thing as a brown middle class. And we're still really in the first generation of a black middle class. This is not, 8, 9, 10 generations. We're at the first, at most the second, but I would say probably the first generation, just really in the past 50 or so years. So what they're doing is important. Support organized labor, and help them. Let's get behind this. Let's continue. And if we're really going to continue Dr. King's work and what he believed in, he did give his life in an organized labor movement. That's what this was. It was clear these brothers, they had no representation. They were being dissed, and he said, I'm going to go right down here and immerse myself in this struggle. So this is very, very important, and we're thankful to them. There can be no delineation between the civil rights movement and organized labor. So thank you, brothers. Appreciate you both. All right, thank you. All right,
brother.
All right, beautiful.